here's what we have today. It's a Kato EH200, or as I like to call it, the Blue Thunder. It is a electric type of engine from Japan. Take it out, put it on the track, put a bunch of cars behind it so you can really see what this thing has. Alright, here we are, lined up on the track. Now, I have a big old train behind it to show you just how powerful this thing is, and it goes way up there too. 40 cars in all, if you can believe it. Pretty good. And of course, against the new Lego layout, it looks awesome, super awesome as well there. So I'll get it going. You can see how much of a beast this thing is and what it can all pull and how good it goes. You just got the strong front lights there, lets you know it's coming. And takes that hill with like nothing. 2% grade on the hill. A lot of engines I've noticed have even a hard time going up here. So the fact that it could just pull this like it's no tomorrow is really speaks to the engine. Alright, now as I said, this is a engine out of Japan. The JRP kind of gives it away. Pretty cool paint scheme there. And like I said, it's called the Blue Thunder, or at least that's what I'm calling it. I love that name. I think it's great for this type of engine.
First register in your Alexa app.
Especially if it's blue. Shut up, Alexa. I like it. I really do. When I first saw this one, I'm totally putting that on the list to get. And eventually did, so here it is, clearly. I think it has a pretty cool look to it, fairly unique itself. I'll get to that in a minute. This is focusing on the overall look. As I said, it's an electric type, so it's got the little connectors here that fold up. Obviously, I don't have the infrastructure for an electric engine with the little wires going around the track, but I don't really care. I think it looks cool. I think it looks neat. They did a good job on this one. I give it a 7 overall on the look. It's a bit boxy. I like more streamlined ones or old school steam ones, but you know, it works. I think 7 is pretty fair. It's got a lot of fine details there. Even on top here you can see they did a pretty good job. If I can get it back on the track. And fine details throughout, so you can see like even the inside cab there a little bit. A lot of little inlets that I guess you would expect on the real one. It's not bad at all. Materials does seem to be all plastic, which I'm not always a super fan of. The little bits and pieces seem to be fairly durable. Been playing with this a little bit now. No problems in regards to things breaking off or anything like that. It's not terrible. I gave it a 6. That's kind of what I'm feeling. I think that works. Works for me anyway. Uniqueness. I think this has some uniqueness qualities to it. Love the Blue Thunder logo on the side of the thing. Love that it's a dual engine. You don't see this too often because it is two separate pieces here, but they are stuck. You can't like take this apart, at least not easily. So it's definitely different. I don't have anything else like this. Maybe there are a lot of other just like these in Japan. I don't really know. But I do really like this look. And it certainly has the uniqueness factor to it. I'm giving it an 8. It's towards the top of the scale for sure in my book. I don't know if you noticed or not, and I don't know if the video does it justice, but it is on the loud side. Bit disappointing because I do like my engines nice and quiet. Maybe it's because there are two motors in here that pull it along, because each engine is separate. But it isn't whisper quiet by any means. Gave it a 4, because that's, well, what I'm giving it. Now if you also notice, maybe I should have said this in the overall look, but when I spin this thing around, it's the same paint scheme. So you can't really tell which way this is facing, because the JRP and the Blue Thunder is in this side, and when I spin it back, you'll notice nothing changed. So kind of funny that way, how it's always going to be facing the same direction, no matter which way you spin it. Funny little thing I thought I'd point out. For its motor strength, you saw it, this thing is pretty powerful. It doesn't take much to get this thing going. Fairly impressed with that. Gave it a 7. Seems to be pretty good for what this thing can do, and when it starts, maybe a little before halfway with the dial it starts moving there. Here's where we've been running it at, right at the danger zone. So it's still got plenty of kick left in it. Not at full speed by any means, and it still has enough power to light all the lights in the cars, as well as take that hill with ease. Motor strength. You saw it. This thing can pull like none other that I have, certainly. Giving it a full 10. Now, it might have something to do with the dual motors that are in this thing. But certainly impressed with its strength. I don't think any other engine that I have can do what this thing does. At least none that I've tested with. So, pretty impressive that it can pull all those cars around all those corners and up the hill. With ease. No struggles whatsoever. Pretty awesome for its strength. Here is that slow crawl test, and it's really good. Smooth and quiet, super slow, and still can pull 40 cars behind it. Look at that. That's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, it's not making a peep. And super slow. As it goes around that corner. Full 10 for me. It doesn't get any better, folks. It is super awesome at this speed. You can't ask for anything more. Of course I don't have DCC, so the lights don't turn on in the cars, but that's besides the point. Derailments. Now these big old wheels aren't going anywhere, at least not that I've seen. Giving it a 9, just because it is a tiny bit tricky to get everything on the track at first try. But certainly no derailment problems from these things. Just a matter of getting it on to begin with. Problems. None whatsoever that I have discovered. This thing's worked as advertised, works pretty good. Nothing's breaking, nothing has broke. Full 10. Now for the cost of this thing. Wasn't the cheapest thing in the world. I paid $86 for it. Now that was a little bit under what they typically go for. I think they're around $120, $150, something like that new, that it retails for. Got it new on eBay. I think I might have even had a free $15 off, 75 or more that they gave out to help drive the cost down. But my cost out of pocket was $86 with shipping. From Japan. It did come from Japan. So, you know, it's an impressive motor. It can pull anything. It is a little on the loud side. So, it's also on the more expensive side, at least for the engines that I pay for. I'm usually around 60, 70, somewhere in there, it seems like. For a lot of the ones I have, I'm giving this a 5 right down the middle for the value. Like I said, love the engine. A little bit pricey, I think. But it is worth that premium. If you could find this thing for under 60, I say snap it up, because that would be an impressive deal. Alright, when you sum it all up there, comes at 76. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's a pretty solid score. Overall, pretty happy with it. Like I said, pretty unique, strong puller. What more do you want? Well, for me, a quieter engine would have been nice, but that's probably the one, certainly the main thing dragging this thing down. But overall, I'm happy with it. It's a good purchase. Well, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more. Lots more to come. If you've got any ideas of what you'd like to see, let me know in the comments below. I am thinking of doing some sort of race between all of my engines. I think that would be pretty cool. So stay tuned for that, as I'm sure I'll get to that shortly.